Welcome back. So far, we have introduced the Laplace transform. Let us see what we can do with it, and particularly that is the goal of the today's lecture. So, we are going to explore the applications of the Laplace transform, and there exist several applications in electrical engineering, mechanical engineering, civil, several places. But in today's lecture, I am going to concentrate on the application of Laplace transform to analyze the circuits where resistor, capacitor, or inductors, dependent or independent current and voltage sources are involved. So that is the goal of the today's lecture. So let us first try to see the steps in applying the Laplace transform for the circuit analysis. So I am going to write the steps in applying the Laplace transform. So first step is like this: transform the given circuit. So suppose that if circuit is given, so transform the circuit from the time domain, and in time domain we have already seen that how to model resistor, capacitor, inductor, current source, and voltage source. So time domain to the S domain, or you can also tell the frequency domain. And after that, second step, now what we have observed that whenever we are talking about S domain, at that time everything is analyzed using some kind of algebraic equation. And first part of this course, when we have done the analysis of DC circuits, where we have seen that everywhere I have just some kind of algebraic equation. So suppose that if I have circuit of resistors, and after that if I have dependent or independent current source, then that is governed by algebraic equation. And at that time we are using several analysis tool like nodal analysis, mesh analysis, source transformation, superposition. So same kind of technique after transformation from time domain to frequency domain is applicable. So let us write the second step: solve the circuit using nodal analysis, mesh analysis, source transformation. So I can transform current source into voltage and vice versa. Meson. Since these circuits are linear, means whenever we have capacitor, inductor, and resistor, so superposition theorems also work. So I can apply superposition, or any circuit analysis technique with which we are familiar. So whatever standard technique I have learned so far, I can use to handle these kind of problems. So since I have already talked a lot about the second part, so in today's lecture first I will talk the first part. After that I am not going to talk about the theoretical part of the second one. So just by using some problem I will show you that how to apply second step, and after that third step is again mathematical. So that is take the inverse transform of the solution and thus obtain the solution in the time domain. So finally I will come back to the original domain. So now let us try to discuss the first step here, because that is the new one for us, and after that all above thing is just a routine practice. So let us try to start the element, that is resistor. So now let us first, I will take the resistor, and if you see the voltage and current relationship in time domain, so voltage current relationship in the time domain, so that is governed by the Ohm's law, and we are well aware that Vt means applied voltage equal to R into It, where R is nothing but the resistance of the circuit. Now this expression in time domain, so let us take the Laplace transform both side. So if I will do like this, Vt e power minus st from 0 minus to t and into dt, that is equal to R 0 to t it e power minus st into dt. Basically this is not t, this is infinity, because I am going to apply the Laplace transform. So this is infinity and this is infinity. So now you can symbolize this. So it is common practice that we are writing this as a like this capital letter. So Vs, that is R, so some constant, so that remains the same, and after that Is. So basically I have this whole term, that is Laplace transform, that is represented like this, and this whole term is represented like this. So in frequency domain, so this above relation in time domain, and now I have this kind of relation, and this relation is in frequency domain, or you can also tell or Laplace domain, both are same. Now, and here S is sigma plus j omega, complex number. Now let us move to the second important component, electrical component. So second element I am going to take as a inductor. So for inductor I have the following kind of things. Suppose that I have some, I am going to draw the circuit. So I have inductor and some current is flowing through it, and I am assuming that there exists some kind of initial condition, that is I0 for this particular inductor L, and current is flowing through this, and I am going to apply this kind of voltage V2 across these two terminals. So now I can write the mathematical equation in time domain, and that is nothing but mathematically I can capture like this: Vt equal to L dit by dt. So this is expression in, basically this expression in time domain, and in order to get corresponding equation in Laplace domain or frequency domain, I have to take Laplace transform on both sides, taking the Laplace transform of both sides, and this will gives the following, because in previous case when we have resistor, I have represented Laplace transform of Vt by Vs. So you can also write same like that is the Laplace transform of Vt. So Vt I am seeing in time domain, and in frequency or Laplace domain I have Vs, and after that L is some constant, and here I have Laplace transform of differentiation. So if you remember the properties, then you can apply that S and Laplace transform of I, so that is Is, and after that you have to put the initial condition. So you have to substitute the initial condition 0 minus, and after that, now by continuity equation I can also write I0 minus equal to I0. That doesn't matter, because in order to maintain differentiability of IT, I0 minus I0 and I0 plus all are equal. So I can again write like this: Ls Is minus L I0 minus. So that is the initial condition. So basically, if you draw this circuit in frequency domain, so initially I have the above circuit. So again, in order to see the more transparency, I am going to draw again. So initially I have circuit like this. So here I have initial condition like I0, and I have some current IT here, and this is L, and after that applied voltage is Vt. So now I am going to transform this into the Laplace domain. So in Laplace domain it is possible to see that now I have first term. So you can see that this is voltage, so somehow this is also voltage, and if you apply Ohm's law, then it is possible to interpret this whole quantity L and S as some kind of resistance, and Is as current through it. So somehow here in place of L, I have to write S into L. So you can also think that Ohm's law is applicable here, and after that you can see that this is voltage, so somehow L into I0 is also represents the voltage. Here negative sign is there, so polarity is opposite. So due to that reason I am going to draw. So this is also some kind of voltage. So basically my equivalent circuit you can see in the other domain, that is called frequency domain, or you can interpret like the Laplace domain, and this is negative plus positive. So this is the effect of the initial condition. So and after that I have this, and here plus and minus, and this is the Vs. So this and value of this I am going to write using different color, so S into L. So in this way time domain circuit is converted into the Laplace domain or frequency domain like this. Now I can also interpret this Vs. So here I am interpreting this as a voltage in form of voltage. Now I am going to interpret same kind of things in terms of current, because here if you try to see circuit in terms of the voltage, then at that time effect of initial condition is just look like some kind of independent voltage source of magnitude Li0 minus is added in series of this particular inductor, or some kind of, I am also telling this as a complex resistance, because behavior is now exactly same as the resistor. So this is the S domain equivalent. So just write the name of figure. So name of figure is nothing but S domain equivalent, and this is the time domain circuit. So time domain, and previous expression now I am going to rewrite like this. So I am going to write like this: Is equal to 1 by SL and Vs plus I0 minus by S. So just now I am expressing the above expression in terms of current. So and after that again I am going to draw the equivalent circuit. So now you can see that if I will interpret expression like this, at that time my equivalent circuit looks like little bit different, and again I have some kind of voltage source in S domain or frequency domain, and after that here you can see that I have some current I, that is combination of two currents. So this is somehow also current, and this is also somehow the current. So basically that is I1 plus I2. So I can represent like this, and I have already told you that this acts like some kind of complex resistor. So current is voltage by the resistance. So this term is nothing but SL, and after that I have one more term, and this new term is nothing but this particular quantity, that is I0 minus by S. So this figure also represent the another S domain representation. So in this way I can either and this is nothing but Is. So in this way I can, so Is is this particular current. So I can either represent the time domain circuit like this, or in form of voltage source, or in form of current source. And from here also you are able to understand the conversion from the voltage source to current source. So both are valid here. So that kind of things I am not going to discuss. Now let us try to see the our next element, that is capacitor. Before going to capacitor, I will tell you one more important thing. In phasor domain we have seen the similar kind of equivalent circuit, but what is crucial difference, that initial condition doesn't come into picture. So if initial condition equal to 0, then you can see that equivalent circuit using phasor is exactly same. So what is beauty and why we are interested in Laplace transform? Because we are also using Laplace domain or S domain, we are able to see the effect of the initial condition also. That is the main motivation to explore the Laplace transform after the phasor 1. And third element is the capacitor. So I am going to talk about the capacitor, and again first try to see the relation between current and voltage. So I can also write IT equal to C dVt by dt. So this is the time domain model of the current and voltage across any capacitor. And now I have to convert this into S domain. So transform into the S domain, and if I will do this kind of transformation, then again I have to take the Laplace transform, same like the previous one. So I am assuming that Laplace transform of IT is Is and Vt is Vs. So again I am going to use the property of the differentiation, and after that I have V0 minus. So I have S into C into Vs minus C V0 minus. So and this is the initial condition in time domain. So I am going to represent using the small letter. So basically now I have here V0 minus. So now again I am going to interpret this circuit in the S domain. So let us, and parallelly now you can write, because you are able to understand that either I can represent in Is or in terms of Vs. So basically I have two equivalent circuit, SC and Is plus V0 minus by S. Now let us try to draw the circuit based on these two expression. So let us first try to see the circuit in time domain. So in time domain I have something like this capacitor, and after that I have something like this, and After that I am going to apply the voltage, that is in time domain, that is Vt, and current is It, and after that I have certain kind of initial condition, because that is the main motivation of using this particular analysis technique. And after that I can also write this particular thing in S domain, that is like this. So now I am going to use the first equation I, and here you can see that I have voltage multiplied by voltage, so I am going to write something like this. So Vs, so that is Is into 1 by Sc, so this component is nothing but 1 by Sc, and after that I have, and this is plus and minus, and here I have one extra component in form of voltage, and polarity is like this because here symbol is plus. So basically I have this, so this is Vs, and after that you can identify all other, this particular voltage is V0 minus by S. So V0 minus or V0 and V0 plus all are equal due to continuity. Due to that reason either you can write V0 minus or V0, that doesn't matter. And here whatever current that is going to flow through this circuit is like this. So this is one representation. Similarly I can also write the second one. So second one is like this. So I have again voltage source, and current is going to divide into two part. So I have similar kind of interpretation like previous one, so I am not going to talk the same thing again. I hope that you are able to picturize it. So here I have voltage Vs, this is plus, this is minus, so you can also put here plus and minus, and again this is plus and this is minus. So I have, this is Is, so this is 1 by Sc, and direction of this is now reverse because negative sign is there, so please check it. And here this is 0 minus, either you can write 0 and 0 minus. Now you are become comfortable, so you can use 0 minus or 0. So I have used this kind of expression. So one current in right hand side is positive and negative. Due to that reason I have two different direction. So in this way I can able to generate, so give the name. So these two figure represent the S domain equivalent circuit, and this is first one is the time domain. So it is pretty easy to interpret. This is time domain. So now what we have observed during this transform, that somehow it is able to capture the initial condition. So if you write in terms of remark, so in this way basically initial condition is captured, but in phasor these we are missing this kind of advantage, and whenever, since this method is able to capture the initial condition, so we are able to get the response due to initial condition also. So in this way I can able to get the complete response. So it means that I have two response, that is transient plus steady state. So that is the advantage of the S domain over the phasor domain. Now if you assume that all initial condition equal to 0, then both domain, either you can talk about the phasor domain or either you can talk about the Laplace domain, both domain is exactly equal. So let us write this point. So note is like this: if we assume 0 initial conditions, so in case of capacitor, if voltage across capacitor is 0, in case of inductor, if initial current through inductor is 0, that is meaning of the initial condition, inductor and the capacitor, the above equation reduced to, and now I have the same equation like the phasor domain. So quickly I am going to write it. So in case of resistor, now I have this, and after that in case of inductor I have expression like this, that is Vs is SLIS. So interpretation is, again I am telling that this has a complex resistor in our interpretation, 1 by SC into IS. So now I can also able to define the impedance. So let us define it. So definition, I am talking about the definition of impedance dense in S domain. So basically impedance, or you can write the impedance basically. So the impedance in the S domain is the ratio of the voltage to the current transform, so Laplace transform under zero initial condition, because we have to match this kind of definition with the phasor one. Due to that reason, I am putting all initial condition equal to 0. Otherwise, I cannot give the same name as impedance initial conditions. So it means that I can again define like this, where Laplace transform of voltage by Laplace transform of current. So now I can also able to define the impedance of individual element. So thus the impedances of the three circuit actually three circuit elements are. So for resistor, if you see, then that is Zs equal to R, and for the inductor, Zs equal to SL, and for capacitor, Zs equal to 1 by Sc. So in this way we are talking about the impedance. Now one more important point I am going to discuss as a remark, because I have told you that means in Laplace domain also I can analyze the dependent source, and from the initial class onward I was always talking about the dependent sources. So suppose that if I have some kind of dependent source, then how to take care about this. So we have already seen that in case of dependent sources, so I have four different kind of combination: current dependent voltage source, current dependent current source, voltage dependent voltage source, voltage dependent current source. So actually, and since whole network is linear, so we have two different kind of things. So we are going to dependent source. So the dependent sources can have only two controlling values, a constant times either a voltage or a current. So basically I have just two situations. Thus I can calculate the Laplace transform. So I have, suppose some voltage is V and this is constant, so due to that reason I have this. So basically it is also pretty easy to deal with the dependent source in the case of the S domain or Laplace domain. Now let us try to see some examples related to the analysis of circuit using the Laplace transform. More example is basically sent to you as a tutorial. So find V0t in the circuit and I am going to draw the circuit. Before that I am going to write the assumption. Assuming 0 initial condition, so let us draw the circuit. So suppose that I have circuit like this. I have one resistor, one capacitor, and again a resistor and one inductor, and suppose I have this circuit like this. I have certain kind of voltage source here. Now let us give some value. So suppose this is unit step voltage source, this is 1 ohm resistance, and this is 1/3 farad, this is 5 ohm, and here I have 1H, and I have to calculate this V0t. So that is our aim. So I have already told you that first step is to express everything in S domain. So I am going to do that only. So I am going to express everything in S domain. So in S domain I can able to write ut, that is unit step function, and Laplace transform of unit step function I know, that is 1/s. I have 1/h, 1 Henry. So I can write like this, SL, and L is basically 1. So this is S, and after that I have capacitance equal to this. So I can write like this, SC. So basically 3/s. So in this way I am able to now generate all kind of quantity in S domain. After that just I have to draw the circuit in S domain. So I am going to redraw the circuit in S domain. So now I have again this voltage source, and there is no effect on resistance, so that is going to remain as it is. And after that now I have this, and after that I have this, and now let us write the proper values. So this is 1 ohm, same like the previous circuit. This is 5 ohm. Now this is modified by 3/s, and value of this is S, and I have to calculate this. So again now initially I have to calculate this in time domain. So whatever result now I am going to get, that is in frequency domain. Due to that reason I have written like this. Now suppose I want to apply the mesh analysis, because I have told you that all standard technique will work, whatever you learn during your first part of this course. And this is I2S. So Now I'm just going to write equation for mesh 1. So for mesh 1, you can see that I have 1 by s, and this is 1 plus 3 by s into I1. So now I am going to write the expression directly. So basically 3 by s is just like some kind of resistor, and after that, since we are in this mesh, due to that reason I am writing I1 minus I2, and after that collecting. So directly I have written this. And for mesh 2, let us come to the mesh 2. So now I am going to write same kind of things for mesh 2. So for mesh 2, now I have, there is no voltage source in this mesh, so basically I have 0, and after that if you write the equation, so directly now I am going to write, I am not going to discuss, because now everything is pretty simple, because you can apply Ohm's law, so everything is somehow, and several times I have discussed about this. So basically now I have I1 equal to 1 by 3 s square plus 5s plus 3 into I2. And if we are going to substitute this I1 expression in the previous one, so I am going to substitute basically I1 here. So let us try to see the step. Actually I am going to substitute this I1 at this point. So I am going to get everything in terms of I2, and both sides I am going to multiply with 3s. Then it is possible to see like this, that so I have already symbolically I am telling that I1 I am going to substitute there, so I am not going to write this step. Now I am going to write next step, multiplying through, means after substituting I am going to multiply by 3s, so that will gives, if you will do, then we are going to get this kind of expression, s cube. So I have s cube plus 8s square plus 18s multiplied by I2. So basically now I have this kind of result. Basically I have I2 that is equal to 3 by s cube plus 8s square plus 18s, and now I can write the expression for the V0s, that is nothing but s into I2. So that is, now I am going to s, I am going to remove from the denominator. So I have expression like this, and after that now I have to take the inverse Laplace transform. So I need some kind of standard form. So in order to get a standard form, I am going to write like this. So these steps are pretty easy to understand. Plus and root 2 square. So I can write like this. After that I will take the inverse Laplace transform. So taking the inverse transform, and this basically yields v0t 3 by root 2 e power minus 4t sine root 2 t, and this is the volt, or t greater than equal to 0, or you can multiply with ut, both are okay. So in this way, whenever I have some kind of circuit, first I will convert that into S domain, and after that I can apply the standard techniques. Now let us discuss one more important point, and after that I will close the today's lecture. So using the Laplace transform, I am able to get the concept of transfer function, and if you will go to next semester, then you are able to understand the role of transfer function, because in control system role of transfer function is very, very important. So, and in signal process also people are using. So transfer function is one of the key concept in signal processing. Signal processing means some signal is passed through some particular block or particular object, because it indicates how a signal is processed as it passes through the network. So suppose that if I have network or some system, and whenever signal will pass, then using the transfer function we are able to see the effect of that particular block or particular network on the input signal. So the transfer function of any system describes how the output behaves with respect to the input. So now using S domain, I can also able to capture this. So basically let us first define it. So basically situation is like this: I have something, so inside this either I have system, I have network, anything, and suppose that if you have something like input, so xt is your input, and suppose that your yt is the output, and this is some system. You can interpret, I have already defined what is meaning of system. So now I am going to see the effect of this system on this particular excitation. So this is my input and this is my output. So I am going to define in terms of transfer function. So let us first define this term, what is meaning of transfer function, because this is very, very important concept, and several places again you are able to see this kind of concept. Due to that reason I am going to cover in this class. So definition is the transfer function, and most of time we are denoting like HS, is the ratio of the output response, and suppose output response in S domain, if I am representing by ys to the input excitation, and that is input is xt, so that is the Laplace transform of the input. And during this process I am going to assume this, assuming all initial conditions are 0. So here we have defined the transfer function in more generalized way. So basically mathematically what I am telling, that transfer function Hs is nothing but Laplace transform of output by Laplace transform of input. And depending on the signal, I can interpreting transfer function for electrical circuit in different way. So sometimes suppose that if I am talking in terms of voltage, so Hs at that time is nothing but voltage gain. So basically that is the output voltage by the input voltage. So I have to take the Laplace transform of output voltage and after that Laplace transform of input voltage. In this way I can define. Similarly I can also define transfer function as a current gain, because one of the most primitive element or primitive quantity we are talking during the circuit analysis, that is the current and voltage. So due to that reason I have this, and after that I can also interpret this Hs as a impedance, because initial condition is 0. So whatever definition I have made for phasor, same kind of definition are applicable here. So that is Vs by Is. And similarly I can define the admittance, that is the inverse of this. So that is Is by Vs. So in this way we are using transfer function to denote voltage gain, current gain, impedance or admittance. After that, one more important quantity we have, that when input, because we have already seen that our circuit, whatever circuit, electrical circuit we are talking about, somehow that circuit is linear. So if I will see the response of the circuit for the unit impulse excitation, then I can able to extrapolate it using the homogeneity. So if I know how system we have for unit signal, then I am able to understand that how this system is going to behave if that input is multiplied by alpha or some gain beta. So due to this reason, apart from the transfer function, one of the popular definition that is called impulse response. So let us talk about the impulse response. So these kind of terminology people are frequently using. So let us try to see the definition. So definition of impulse response is like this: the unit impulse response is the output response of a circuit when the input is a unit impulse. So that is the definition. It means that if I have tried to see the interpretation of this definition, so basically what I am telling, that suppose I have system, so here I have electrical circuit or mechanical circuit, whatever, that doesn't matter. So, and whatever input xt I am going to apply, that is the unit impulse function in time domain, and we know that transfer function, after applying the Laplace transform, the Laplace transform of the unit impulse function is 1. So this is unity in case of the S domain, and after that if I have yt, so suppose this is ys, so somehow here I have this kind of condition that ys is nothing but that is exactly equal to hx, or yt equal to somehow ht, means if I will convert this again into time domain, so basically this is first in Laplace domain or S domain, and after that, after taking the inverse Laplace, I can able to get the time domain. So basically ht is the unit impulse response, and I can calculate ht directly like this. ht is the inverse Laplace transform of the hs, because now you can see that hs is exactly equal to ys. So the term ht represent the unit impulse response. It is the time domain response of the network to a unit impulse. That is the definition of the unit impulse response. So now let us try to see one problem, and after that I will close the today's lecture. So that is related to the transfer function as well as impulse response. So problem is like this. The output of a linear system is yt. So suppose our output is like this, cos 4t, and ut is the unity is the unit step function when the input is xt, that is of this form, e minus t into ut. Now our goal is to find the transfer function of the system and its impulse response. So that is our objective. So let us try to see the solution. So again I have to express both input and output in the frequency domain. So in time domain I have something like e power minus t ut. So I am going to take the Laplace transform. So basically this is s plus 1. Similarly I have second quantity output, that is yt is 10 e power minus t cos 4t into ut. And if again I will calculate the Laplace transform of this, so it is pretty easy to calculate because several times we have done this exercise. 10 s plus 1 and frequency shift method I can use like this. So now from these two I can able to arrive at the transfer function. So transfer function hs is nothing but ys by sx, and if you will see the transfer function, that is like this. So basically I have 10 into s square plus 2s plus 1 by s square plus 2s plus 17. Now this is the transfer function, and once I will know the transfer function I can directly able to find the impulse response. So to find ht we write hs as 10 minus 40, because in this way we are obtaining the inverse Laplace transform. So and after that decomposing it, we are going to use the table. So from that table, means whatever we have discussed in the last class, I can write like this 10, and here I have nothing, so that is delta will come into picture, and here e power minus t and sine 40 into ut. So in this way I am able to calculate the impulse response. So transfer function is nothing but whatever gain we are getting in terms of the Laplace transform, or in S domain if I pass some signal from some system, and impulse response is the inverse Laplace transform of the transfer function. So in this way these two things we are using very commonly in the circuit analysis. So what we have observed in today's class, that Laplace transform is one of the very useful tool, same like the phasor, and using the Laplace transform we are getting additional benefit over the phasor, that it is possible to obtain the complete response, and due to that reason Laplace transform is very much famous, not only in circuit analysis but almost all area of the engineering. So with this remark I am going to complete this part, means Laplace transform and its application, and I will send you some more problem with solution using tutorials, or if you have some confusion then please write to me. With this, I am going to complete the today's lecture. Thank